Are the markets on the official rebound as Bitcoin crosses $56,000? We have some insight on Bitcoin's price action, and leading up to the election, what could potentially happen? Also, massive news from the Kaspa community. If you are joining us from our Kaspa video posted earlier, before our live show, welcome. We're going to go a little more in depth with the news of Kasplex launching the KRC20 token standard on the mainnet September 15th. It is confirmed. What can we expect from Kaspa? What tokens should we look out for? We'll get Rob's opinion on that. Also, big Cardano news. Snack.fun launched, and a lot of users joined Cardano. The metrics are on the rise. Will price be on the rise as well? Also, we're going to talk about Ethereum and why one person believes Ethereum's biggest issue is interoperability. We'll have that discussion and much, much more on today's episode of City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. We're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, stale information and repackage that thing up in a fun hopium. Bitcoin is back kind of way. Oh, 40K? Not here, bro. Get out of here. Was that the bottom?
Listen, Jim.
For the bull market.
Listen, Jim.
Was that the bottom?
No. Listen, Jim.
What do you mean no?
Jim, listen. Where do you think Bitcoin's price is?
You can call me Jim.
Jim Crane. We do it the opposite
Jim,
of what you say.
Crane.
90K September. We go 45K September. All jokes aside, we did see a little pump starting yesterday. So I did a poll on X. Will Bitcoin pump or dump? Will we see a Sunday pump or dump? I believe it was 50-50. Let me go ahead and pull it up and see exactly where that landed. Someone commented and said it was going to be sideways. Okay, so 53% of you that voted believe that we were going to see a Bitcoin pump. Well, you were right, kind of. You want to call a pump. What was this? Yesterday's candle was around 1.3%. Is that considered a pump? Who knows? Let's take a look here at the Bitcoin chart. So we have BTC on the daily. Yesterday, you see this candle here. We saw the price of Bitcoin wick all the way down to 53.7 and ended up closing at 54.8. And today's candle is bigger, better, and stronger and faster. Will this trend continue? Will this trend continue? We should see some immediate resistance right around this 58, call it 58K flat level. And I'll throw a horizontal line on here so you guys can see. This level here, we saw Bitcoin consolidate in this range and get rejected a couple times, and it had a breakout, fell right through it, came back up on a wick, retested, failed, broke above in one candle, support, and then broke down resistance. So this level is, and then going all the way back to May of this year as well, pretty strong support level as we saw a V-shaped recovery and when Bitcoin went from around 63.9, wicking all the way down to 55.9 and going back up to get back to around that 71K level. So we should be looking at potentially, if you're a trader, a leverage trader, maybe look at how price will react around this area. If we see volume if we start to see volume ramp up leading into this zone, potentially we can see a breakout above, and we'll see if we can get a bump and run, a retest of this as support, and on the way back up again. But if volume starts to decrease and you go down to the 1 hour and you start seeing, momentum is kind of shifting away, then I would recommend, not financial advice, so here, I'll reword it. What I'll be doing is I'll be entering into a short position on Bitcoin as far as swing trading and scalping profit.
Hold on. You say short position? Are you not? The trend is your friend, my friend. So take a look here. You got Bitcoin on the 24 hours. I mean, we don't need these fancy trading candles to know that this is a beautiful up and to the right chart now. So you can see that just a day ago, 24 hours ago, not even, we were at 54,000 and, questioning, will we go down and test that 50K mark? And you can see we have just had some healthy movement. And not only did we crawl up from 54 to 55, but we just shot up since 745. Also happens to be the same time the stock market opened up. Coincidence? Probably not. But you know what? We are making up ground on Bitcoin. And also you got the Fed interest rate cut that we are expecting to come down the pipe. They're talking about over a full percent by the end of the year, over a full percent at 1.25.
That's not going to happen. Unless the market's...
Well, no, maybe it's in the next 12 months. But anyways, within the next year. But still, they're talking about major slashes to the interest rates set by the Fed. Major slashing coming up. And so for me, you know what happens when you cut interest rates. And I know where you stand on that. You somehow are living in a bizarro world and you think that everything's going to, go down in value. But I think that, we're not reactionary. We are proactionary.
Proaction. It's not even a word.
It is a word.
I got a question.
What?
In our almanac we're releasing, which, by the way, we're working on that thing hard. I spent, I think, 8 hours yesterday after my kid went to sleep. It was his birthday. Liam, happy birthday, son. And this thing is going to be sick, man. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Are we going to have a page on Rob's words? The words you created throughout the years here at Cincinnati.
You know what? I honestly, we want to make it...
The not so wise.
We don't want to make
Robin.
it... Okay, I'll just say this. The spoiler here is that we're trying to make it a crypto almanac that's kind of used outside of, our community. And so it's not going to have a lot of Sin City.
But you're a prominent figure. You have
there.
prominent words you create. Maybe one of them will end up in the dictionary,
I don't know. There is the index in the back where you can look up things. So if it's cited, proactionary is cited in the book, then at the back it'll have an index.
There might be some surprises in the actual context of the almanac that maybe reference some of those words you've created. But we'll get into more of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor was on CNBC discussing where he thinks Bitcoin's price will go. But I want to shift your attention to this. It is official. The KRC20 token standard will be launching on the Kaspa mainnet September 15th in less than 1 week. Robin, after a month of testing, over a month of internal testing and 2 months of stress testing, they processed over 90 million KRC20 transactions on the testnet, and everything is running smooth.
Beautiful timing. You know what? What beautiful timing. If this would have kind of dropped, or if this would have happened on towards the top or the tail end of the bull market, or in the middle of the bear market, we would think, hey, you're going to get a buy the rumor kind of event. But you know what? Here you're having an upgrade of utility. And so, at the end of the day, Kaspa shares a lot of the qualities of Bitcoin as far as its use case and utility at the current moment, right? It's essentially a store value that you can send back and forth, and you can hold in cold storage. And so that's kind of what Bitcoin does, right? And people have gotten cute and creative and did the inscriptions, but at the end of the day, you're going from a baseline utility to full smart contracts coming. Now the smart contracts won't be live immediately, but
let me ask you a more important question. We all know how important this is. If someone is looking to make money from this, what should they be focused on? Should they be focused on meme coins launching? We know the animal coins are still a thing. You have frogs and dogs with billion-dollar market cap valuations. We know founders' pets have done well. We saw that with Toncoin. We saw that with Nike, with Charles. Is that the play there? Is the play more infrastructure based, like yield-bearing platforms or DEX platforms, aggregator platforms? What would be your play?
I think meaningful dApps take a long time to build out. And so I would probably just go with the flash in the pan things, right? Obviously, DEXs usually come first, followed by, speculative projects. Last bull market we saw, what was it? The launch pad thing kind of take off. Maybe that comes back. I don't really care for launch pads, but yeah, I think meme coins are kind of a no-brainer, but those are still going to be hard to hit and, hard to time. And because, it's going to be hard to get sustained growth in a meme coin. Maybe they get that Pepe. Maybe they get that.
If they do, they would have
that
to.
Token.
The obvious answer here is you would have to tap into communities outside of Kaspa, right? And
no,
so,
that's what I'm saying. Like Brett and Pepe and things like that. Well, take Brett for example. kind of came out of nowhere, but that was because it was a new chain. And so could you see something like that on Caspa? I think it's possible. Uh Now how high does it grow? I think with the lack of the exchange listings from Coinbase and Binance, I think that's really the only thing that would stop a I think that's the only thing that really stops a meme coin from breaking into the top 100 in the Caspa ecosystem. But we think that those are coming, and maybe you could get exposure to something now, and then Caspa gets that Coinbase and Binance listing, maybe later this year, early next year, and it takes it even to that next level. And so maybe you get that rally. Maybe there is a meme coin, and maybe it does perform pretty well. You get that 100x out of it from a launch or from early stages, and then you get the major exchange listings, the two prominent ones that we've been waiting for, and then that takes it to even the next level there, which you could see those 1000x returns.
Just to piggyback off what he's saying, if you're kind of sitting there wondering, well, why would Caspa being on an exchange matter to a meme coin on Caspa? What do you need to what do you need to swap to get the meme coins? You need the native token, which in this case to pay for the gas is Caspa. And so the more places the average user can go and buy Caspa, in turn use that to trade and swap for a meme coin or for a token, it's going to make it that much easier for a bigger sustained pump long term. And so we know Kraken is listing Caspa it's on their roadmap. There is absolutely no chance in hell we don't see Coinbase and Binance in the next 6 to 12 months. Zero chance. Unless they don't like making money, which you're not going to convince me of that. We know Caspa's volume is insane. It's got more volume than I would say 80% of the coins that are on Coinbase right now. So Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, whoever is the head of listing digital assets on Coinbase, list Caspa. You'll make a lot of money. Good job. Moving on from Caspa to one of our other favorite projects, Cardano. You have a Cardano video dropping later today. You get 2 videos. You get 3 videos from Sin City Crypto today. We're starting off the week with an absolute bang. So we hope you're ready for great content from our channel. So Cardano's network activity soars post-upgrade. Will prices follow? What has soared? Well, their active addresses have surged over the last 3 days, reaching their highest level in months. And if I can get this, where the hell? There we go. And then this is a chart of the spike in the active addresses. This has been down and to the right for a little bit of time, but we saw a big spike. Now, this marks the first time in months that Cardano has seen a strong surge in daily active address activity. The sudden spike in active addresses suggests growing interest and engagement within the Cardano ecosystem, which may be a delayed reaction to the recent network upgrade. I actually believe it's something else. I believe it's first reason is this. Cardano trading stats, Splash and Snack.fun are putting in some big numbers in terms of volume. You can see here, of course, the biggest volume here is going to be MinSwap, right? The leading DEX on Cardano, obviously. Second one is Splash, a fairly newer project. And then we have Snack.fun that just launched with over 6 million in volume in ADA for Snack.fun. So these are all things that we can look forward to as that treasury unlocks and more money potentially could be released into the ecosystem and to bring new projects and new platforms on the Cardano network. And then for Splash.fun, Splash.trade, it's essentially a trading platform with temporal liquidity book, composable orders, and decentralized automation with massive high throughput. We take a look at Cardano's stats. This is from the Cardano Foundation. Their transactions over the last week are up 1.51%. Wallets are up over 0.5%. Plutus scripts are up 0.75%. And native tokens are up almost 1%, with policies at 160,000 up 6.5%. Robin, we take a look at what Cardano has done price-wise. It is currently up 3% on the 24-hour. One of the lowest gainers on the top 10 outside of Solana and XRP. Do you think, what do you make of all these, the network activity here on Cardano? And when do you think that's going to kind of show in the price?
I know. Is it a good time to buy? I think so. You know what? I was waiting for a lower pullback maybe it still comes, but at this point, I'm starting to fade that idea. I think
No, you said you were waiting on 28 cents.
I was waiting on
I
28.
told you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it got down to 30 when everything started dumping,
very,
yeah.
very briefly, but it, pretty much held 32 cents for most of the time. Very short window. It got under 32 down to 30 and 31 cents. But you know what? I think that where the project is now, where the bull market is now, where we're expecting the alts to move as far as market cap and the position that Cardano has and Cardano's historical price movement in the last bull market, even if we get 50% of the price movement that we saw last bull market here, I mean, you're still talking a good 5x for a project just right outside the top 10. If you remove the stable coins, a top 10 project. And so, we saw firsthand the community that was Cardano here at Rare Evo, how many projects there are, all the things to get excited about. And so for me, I'm just really bullish on the whole thing, man. I mean, I don't really know how I can sit here and do a whole video on why I'm bullish on Cardano. And, I know there's a lot of a lot of haters, a lot of people that aren't happy with this price movement so far. I mean, you know what? It's still up from 20 cents a year ago. And so the price movement realistically is not that bad. It might have underperformed Bitcoin slightly this year in the last 12 months, but it's still held pretty strong. And I'm expecting that this is going to outperform Bitcoin and outperform a lot of other major alts this bull market. I think what we saw out of Solana early price action this year is something that we'll see out of Cardano. And I think that once people are on there building, using, and the community grows and onboards new members, I think that price movement we saw in Solana, I think we see it in Cardano, man. And I think that $1 is around the corner.
Is it going to take projects like Snack.fun and Splash and maybe like a new dApp that kind of takes the ecosystem by storm?
You know what I think it is? I think it's a hot DEX because, you have Sunday Swap and there's a handful of other
Swap.
Yeah, there's in MinSwap, but there hasn't been one that's really just polarized social media.
Is there an example you can use? Like Jupiter?
Yeah, like Jupiter, Uniswap of last bull market. You had, Pancake Swap, last bull market with Binance. We just haven't caught fire on a DEX yet. And so is that the answer for people's expected price movement for what they want out of it? I mean, I don't know.
I disagree with you. Because people aren't going to a DEX and saying, "Oh my God, this DEX is so cool. Let me see what tokens are on there." No.
I've heard you say that about Jupiter so many times.
Yes, but Robin, let me ask you this question: if the meme coin trading and all that retail trading on Solana wasn't hot, would anyone give a shit about Jupiter?
Obviously, the two have to work together, right? And so without one, you can't get the other, right? Without a solid DEX that everyone is willing to use, you're not going to have the meme coin ecosystem. Vice versa, you need someone to build all of the projects, and you need buyers, right? You need a market for it. And so right now, is there a deep enough market? Is there enough people that are interested in buying meme coins on Solana? Because the whole meme coin thing is kind of taking a back seat lately, right? Maybe there's another meme coin run, and who's gonna rise to the top there? That I'm not exactly sure.
I think if you want to follow the Solana playbook, like you just said, I think it needs to go, oh shit, I can make a lot of money on Cardano. Oh my God, this DEX is so awesome. This ecosystem is great.
I don't think they're going to follow in the footsteps of Solana because Solana.
Well, I'm saying you mentioned how Solana ran.
I think that was one. I was thinking about just the price action, but now the cause of that, I think that the Cardano community is less interested in quick money in meme coins, while the Solana community is heavily interested in quick money from meme coins. And a lot of those people made quick money from NFTs back in Solana's early days. And they also, transitioned over from Ethereum in the NFT sector. So I think that community kind of shifted, right? It shifted from NFTs on Ethereum and DEXs on Ethereum over to Solana. And then they just kind of started hanging out there. And then, you know what? They were like, let's make some money on meme coins. I just don't feel that same hunger for meme coins out of the Cardano community. I think that most of the community is more well established in quality dApps and projects that have some meaningful returns, and that's why you always hear community site sources like, hey, they have a partnership here with this country and South America and Africa, and so I think that's what a lot of that community gets excited about. But you know what? A little meme coin, a little flash in the pan wouldn't hurt. But I think that plus just the ecosystem in itself drive, exploding. Also, look at what Toncoin did. Toncoin wasn't off the back of meme coins. It was off the back of Web3 and gaming, these small little phone games and using the token that way. And so could you get a mix or a blend of all of it? DEX, DeFi.
Or could it be something completely different?
And then, DeFi as well. If you look at today's, this week's gainers, one that's done very well is Phantom and Aave.
Dude, I think everyone, including us, is sleeping on Phantom.
Yeah. So look at Phantom. It's up 8% on the week, right? Everything else is down. Phantom is down. I mean, is performing very well, 12% on the 24 hours. But also right there with it is Aave. So,
I love Aave.
What does this tell me? It feels like there's going to be a growing interest in DeFi. And I would basically look at all DeFi plays and see what is a good value on entry price for your favorite, your favorite DeFi projects. I know last week we were talking about Compound. I haven't even taken a look at it. But what's the ticker for Compound?
Comp.
And so, see, this one's up 5% on the day. You look at the week, it's still down. So, could this see similar price action that we saw out of Aave? Aave obviously had more of a headline narrative pump, which was the Donald Trump DeFi platform leveraging Aave, but you know what? This is something to keep an eye on. On the week, still down. On the day, doing pretty well, 5%. Could we see this get that 12% rally the same way that we're seeing Phantom and Aave? Perhaps.
Aave is such a good pick for this market, man.
Yeah. But anyways, it's something to keep an eye on. I do think that, ecosystems are exactly that. They're ecosystems. They have multiple points of utility. And so meme coins, sure, that's one thing, but I'm excited about Cardano's DEXs, their DeFi, their Web3 and gaming. And we know that they have a pretty strong gaming community. Cornucopias is a game that community is pretty passionate about. I'd like to see that expand as well.
We do a lot of comparing in our crypto space. We compare coins to each other. We compare markets to each other. Well, in honor of football season, I like to compare a 4-piece McNugget Happy Meal with the quarterback of the Giants, Daniel Jones. Where a 4-piece nugget meal costs you only $5, can do the same things that Daniel Jones does that costs $160 million, including not throwing touchdowns, not being able to read a defense, and actually, the Nuggets have one leg up is they make people happy where Daniel Jones makes people sad. And shout out to the Raiders for a great performance down in SoFi Stadium in California. They lost.
It was a great comparison there.
They lost. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know they did.
Some other news in the altcoins. Near Protocol has officially been integrated with RWA.xyz. This is the website that we feature on the show all the time that shows which protocols and which companies, institutions are ahead and leading in the RWA sector. RWA posted this. Near is a blockchain building towards chain abstraction, which allows users and developers to engage across multiple ecosystems from one account. Our successful Near protocol integration means our database now tracks over $630 million of the network stablecoins and tokenized treasuries. The present-day TVL represents a big jump from the $54 million at the beginning of the year, making Near one of the most notable blockchains as measured by tokenized asset growth. So Near Protocol, add that to your RWA list of potentials. I want to share this here from Bitwise, posted this, and this really puts things into perspective, Robin, right? Talk about performance of major assets and asset classes. So the top is the biggest gainers and going all the way down in descending order. 2011, 2012, 2013, Bitcoin led. 15, 16, 17, Bitcoin led. 19, 20, 21, Bitcoin led. So out of the last 14 years, only 3 of the years has Bitcoin not been the best performing asset and or asset class ever. Even year to date, guys, with the boring price action we've had, even year to date, Bitcoin is 3x that of the next highest category earning, which is U.S. equities, 45%. We do see a trend here, Robin, which is interesting, right? We see a trend of 3 years of the best performing, followed by a year, which in 2014, obviously, was a bear market. 74% drawdown, bear market, 63% bear market. But you take a look, typically it's the final year, right? The third leg of this 3-year period that Bitcoin does the best outside of 2020, which we know we had that Black Swan event. We had 156% gains in 2023. Year to date, 2024, I'm assuming we're going to close somewhere around 60% because I believe October and November are going to be very bullish. But this would mean that 2025 should be the best year out of these last 3 years for BTC. Do you believe that?
The best in the last 3 years?
23, 24, 25. The year 2025 will be the best year out of those 3. Historically,
I think so. If Trump wins the election and then you couple that with him delivering on his Bitcoin and crypto strategy, where instead of just simply, and he expanded on it, instead of simply holding what the U.S. currently holds, if they are actively purchasing Bitcoin and keeping it as a reserve, then, he said strategic reserve, right? And so he didn't announce Trump when he was speaking in Nashville at the Bitcoin conference. He didn't go out and say, hey, we're going to buy Bitcoin in some kind of frequency. He just simply said, hey, we're going to create a strategic reserve and we're going to start by holding all of the Bitcoin that we currently hold. And so if he comes out, he delivers on that, say he wins the election, delivers on that, and then he implements a policy where we are chunk buying or DCing of some sort, a large amount of Bitcoin, then that plays out, because there's going to be other countries that follow suit, because, we are the world reserve currency. We're the leader when it comes to economic and finance. And so for me, I just think, like, how are other major countries, G7 countries, the European Union, not going to follow suit and do what we do? Everyone follows the U.S. when it comes to financial policies. We start cutting rates, so does everyone else. We start hiking rates, so does everyone else. And so, I would assume the same would be true for Bitcoin. Not to say that every country will all of a sudden start buying Bitcoin, but I do think that there will be more than just the U.S. And if that happens, then yes, 100% we'll have the strongest year for Bitcoin in 2025. Maybe going all the way back to 2013. Maybe that outperforms what we saw in 2020. And it's off of the backs of an arms race between countries. And, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. The order books are not that deep, realistically, when you talk about, nations throwing around billions of dollars. And so, could we see that $500,000 Bitcoin? I think in that scenario, I think that $500,000 is kind of the low benchmark. If countries are fighting for Bitcoin, I mean, let's be real. And then you got Michael Saylor, and they're just routinely buying Bitcoin anyway. So it's like you got that dude. You got El Salvador already. They're over 5,000, almost 6,000 Bitcoin now. So
I think it's close to 7,000. Either way, it's a lot. A lot of Bitcoin for a nation hold. Before we go any further, I do want to give a big shout out to Crypto Pitbull, who's been a community member for 25 months. So shout out from California. Sin City's the best. We appreciate you, my friend. Also, Crick Cats, $2 super chat, said, need to have a section of all of Rob's chart patterns on the almanac. We'll get back to you on that, my friend.
And then a little shout out to the chat. If you are new here, say hello. We would love to give you a little shout out back at you. We got X, Michael McKenzie, Thomas Keefe, Beebs, Dave P, Las Vegas spokesmodel, Ayana, Anis Z, and to all of you, hola! Welcome.
And also, I'd like to give a big thank you to our channel sponsor today, which is Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how Cams can help your business scale and grow, maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, there's no better company that can guide you and help you than Cam's Blue Wire Tech. Today's crystal clear 4K stream would not be possible without them, so big shout out. Visit bluewiretech.com. Use the link in the description of this video. Now, ETH has been kind of dwindling as far as price action and returns. And we know their ETF has seen massive outflows. Well, there's one company that has bucked the trend, and that is BlackRock. BlackRock leads Ethereum ETF purchases despite market struggles. The world's largest asset manager now holds a staggering 336,000 Ethereum, equating to around $763 million. This significant purchase positions BlackRock as the only major ETF provider actively buying Ethereum. Now, to be clear, they buy Ethereum for their clients, so they are not personally using their own money to buy Ethereum. I haven't read anything that they're doing with Bitcoin, adding it to their own portfolios. I haven't heard that they're doing that with Ethereum. So what is BlackRock doing differently to get their users and the people on their platform to buy Ethereum when we're seeing outflows from literally every other provider? And guess who is making the money off of it? It is none other than BlackRock. I think it's only a matter of time before the rest of the ETF issuers catch up. See what BlackRock is doing. Why are they having success? Go figure it out. We're missing out on a lot of money here. Bam, you start seeing inflows from Ethereum. Do you want to shift this conversation and topic to Michael Saylor? Some people call him the Bitcoin mascot. Some people say he might be Satoshi. Well, let's listen to what he had to say on CNBC this morning.
Bitcoin's 0.1% of the capital in the world right now. I think it's going to go to 7% of the capital.
7%.
My long-term forecast is it's going to go to 13 million over 21 years.
13 million.
13 million. But what is it 5 years from now? In your 4-year calculus.
You know, it's been growing 44% a year with about a 40 to 50 vol. I would think it'll move on at 40%, then click down to 35, then 30, then 25. And at some point, it'll be the S&P return plus 8%, and it'll be the S&P vol plus 8%, because it's always going to be a more global, open, free capital market.
How is there stuff that's above your pay grade? You're worth billions. I mean, we can say that. It's above our pay grade, but who gets to decide if it's above your pay grade?
He might have been it's below his pay grade.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Bitcoin's an expression in this view that you want to invest in an asset without counterparty risk, which means you don't want to be counterparty to a country, a currency, a city, a company, a commodity, or a culture, right? So people think it's a risky thing. It's all about people wanting to not take risk.
You know, it's interesting when he said, I think Bitcoin will be S&P plus 8% or S&P plus 10% with the vol of whatever he said, right? And I think, you know, when you put it in that perspective, for the average person who does not give a shit about what Bitcoin does or what it stands for and why it's so important, they're like, can this make me money? I think that's language that people can understand. Like, okay, well, the S&P, I've made some pretty good money, 8%. I can double that with
you
Bitcoin.
Just look at history, and you can look at the short history of Bitcoin, and it's trending that direction, right? And even with, with less returns annualized, so you know that we're not going to get the same returns that we did back in 2010 because the market's so small. Markets move really quickly, and there's a lot more money to move the market. So. You're going to get diminished returns, but is the benchmark going to be the S&P 500 plus 8%? I actually like that analogy. I think that is probably where it settles in at. And so why even get exposure to the S&P 500 if you're on a longer term time horizon? But take a little bit of risk.
But he also, with making that statement, he kind of alluded and essentially is interpreting that the Bitcoin and the S&P will be correlated moving forward. Correct?
I think that the S&P 500 is in some sort a hedge against inflation, right? It isn't free of correlation, but a lot of people are like, hey, where do I put my money? Inflation, yada yada yada. I want to generate returns, make my money work for me better than a savings account. S&P 500 is like the top no-brainer choice, and perhaps that's going to be replaced by Bitcoin. I did want to show you though, we do have eyes on Michael Saylor. Fine. What it looks like when Saylor sees some Bitcoin.
Oh, great.
So there, Saylor. And Bitcoin, give me that. Bye. and then also we got per Jason Williams. So here you have I'll do whatever it takes. Or $200. I'll do whatever. Buy Bitcoin, hold for 4 years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of things you can ask for. You know, when you make a birthday wish, what does Michael Saylor wish for on his birthday before he blows out the candles? For God to provide the stockholders more money to buy more stock so he can raise more capital to buy more BTC. Now, there's one person or one bank that believes doesn't necessarily agree with everything Michael Saylor is saying, and that is JP Morgan. We continue to see the Bitcoin ecosystem lacking major catalysts, and we thus expect prices to be incrementally more sensitive to macro factors. Do you agree? Can you name one or two or three catalysts for Bitcoin? I know you mentioned strategic reserve, right? Any other catalysts that kind of jump out at you? Because at the end of the day, we can have 20 halvings, but if demand is not there, the price won't go up, right?
You know, I just think that people have gotten complacent on investments lately. You haven't seen an explosive investment on anything really this year outside of NVIDIA, right? And so we've had steady, sustained growth across the markets in the U.S. and globally. And, we saw that the housing market ran really hot and the prices of everything, especially assets, went up. And so everything's kind of cooled down a little bit. But if you think about it, Bitcoin is still outperformed, as you showed your chart this year, outperforming, damn near everything, right?
It literally has.
And so, yeah. And so it's hard to make that argument lacking major catalysts. I think Bitcoin itself is the catalyst, right? I don't think it needs some kind of shiny new utility or some giant narrative. I do think that there are going to be buying narratives where, hey, the U.S. is, as I mentioned before, U.S. is buying, I think is a huge catalyst in itself. But outside of, nation state adoption and companies buying Bitcoin, I think the catalyst just simply comes from chunk buys, a supply and demand shock that shoots the price up. And I think it's, at its end of the day, it's very, very simplistic. And I'm just curious on why Jamie Dimon is always so quick to dismiss Bitcoin, its price movement, its staying power, the belief in it. Still thinks it's a Ponzi scheme. Sometimes he comes out and says it's used by money launderers. Oh, sure, yeah, okay, money launderers use it, fine.
Far more
at a very, very, very small percentage, but it's funny because his company is involved in Bitcoin, right? And Chase in itself is got exposure to Bitcoin in multiple avenues and multiple verticals, and so it's almost like that guy in high school that's all like, man, that girl's crazy. I ain't gonna date her. She's too popular. Like, I don't want nothing to do with her. And next thing you know, he's over there, simping on her ass, taking her out on dates, and then talking crap about her around his friends, And so I think that's how he's approaching Bitcoin. He's over here telling everyone, like, nah, I don't like it. I don't like it. And secretly he's over there,
they're
whining and dining her,
God knows we can wind it down to Bitcoin. There might be one catalyst, according here to Bernstein, that Bitcoin could sink to $30,000 if Kamala Harris wins the election. This is a quote from what is the name? So Bernstein is an analytics firm, right? So the tone and clarity between the two political sides have been very different, noted the analyst, pointing out that Trump's vocal support for making Bitcoin and crypto in the U.S. the capital of the world. The report suggests that a Harris victory could lead to a continuation of the challenging regulatory environment that has plagued the crypto sector in recent years, saying, quote, the current crypto market has survived through a very challenging regulatory environment, adding that regulatory actions have eroded the trust of the crypto community and forced them down the partisan route. In contrast, a Trump win could potentially propel Bitcoin to new heights, with Bernstein projecting prices in the 80 to 90K region by fourth quarter, which starts in October, not September. 80 to 90K by fourth quarter of their if Trump does win. I think talking about, look, Bitcoin and maybe we'll just stay with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gone through so much shit, so much uncertainty, so much FUD, so much the network is down, it's going away forever, regulatory concerns, the crypto kind of too. But I don't think even if Kamala wins, I think short term people get bearish, but in the long term, that changes nothing about what Bitcoin is and what Bitcoin does. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, the thing is that the Bitcoin's market is going to be forced upon you, forced upon nations, forced upon countries, whether you want to or not. And if Kamala Harris wins and she sticks with the anti-crypto strategy that we've seen so far with the sitting president and her personal cabinet members that are already there and already have done nothing for crypto. She had her press release for her policies of the upcoming election.
On her website.
Completely left out Bitcoin there and crypto. Made no stance, but she's supposed to be Harris for crypto for some reason. That's interesting. Like, if you're going to come out with a slogan, Harris for crypto, and then post it on social media, then have a policy. Like, how are you going to be Harris? Like, you're not for crypto because you haven't said anything for crypto. So it confuses me. And then you got the debate tomorrow, which I am so excited about. You know what? I haven't
expect a lot of volatility.
I have a suspicion that there's going to be a crypto question asked, and you know what? I mean, your boy Trump has been getting ready. You know, Trump is prepares for the debate against Kamala by going to the bar and arguing with drunks. So, not to say that she drinks, but she does. So you know what? I just can't.
Was that the Babylon Bee?
Yeah.
They have the best headlines, dude. Literally the best. Okay.
And so will we get our first crypto debate question? I don't think
so, man.
I think there's
I hope so. I don't
I think they drop it.
You think so?
I think they start talking about the economy and inflation, and I think that's the normal question. That's definitely going to be there. Inflation, Bidenomics, whatever you want to call it, the economy. You know, what is the strategy? And I think that because
Kamala-nomics.
because Trump was at the Bitcoin conference and she was rumored to go, and you know what, crypto for Harris or whatever it is, Harris for crypto, whatever her slogan is, and so. I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting talking point if it gets brought up. So
yeah, I don't think so.
What do you think she would say if she got asked a question about, hey, are you proposing any kind of crypto regulation?
Let's be straightforward here. First 10 seconds laughing, right? Cackling, right? Come on. I don't know. I think it would be some surface level. And to be fair, right, the only candidate up until he dropped out that actually went deep into what he would do is Robert F. Kennedy. Even Trump, to some extent, what he says is on a surface level. He hasn't explained exactly how they're going to do it.
The surface level is deep, though. The surface level is, hey, we're going to hodl.
Yes,
250,000 Bitcoin.
What I was going to say is
pretty bullish.
I think Kamala would be even more surface level. What's above surface level? Sea level? I don't know. Regardless, I think Kamala's will be more of a blanketed statement or series of statements versus an actual, this is what we're going to do, this is what we want to do. She's going to say, of course, every politician uses buzzwords, try to rally people to vote. But I think the people smart enough to actually pull back the curtains and see what have they done, what's been happening.
If she gets asked a crypto question, you know what she's going to say. She'll be like, well, there's money, and then there's digital money. And then there's people that use regular money, and then there's people that use digital money. And then if you move digital money, it can move a lot faster than regular money. But, I'm not really sure if, the regular money, and then that's it.
I think we just saw the debate right here live on Sin City Crypto. Guys, check out our Cardano video that drops in about an hour and 30 minutes. We talk about what Charles's last video focused on. Should we burn the treasury? What are we going to do? I think Charles is pretty outspoken about that. I'm going to give my take on it. And then we also, for you Kaspa fans, if you haven't seen our Kaspa video, we dropped that before the live show. Go watch it as I discuss more in depth about the KRC20 token standard. and what that could potentially bring for Kaspa and its price action, comparing it to what we saw with Cardano and what we can potentially see from Kaspa. Some key levels to look out for. And that's all we got. With that being said, Rocco? So I went slower there? Just give you enough time? Someone said getting rid of the club but keeping the tornado makes 0 sense. Miguel Costa, to you, that was not appropriate. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We love you guys.
Club back. It's going to be repackaged in a fun and exciting.
Wow, okay. See you tomorrow, peace.
Entertainment and info, gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the